Jed May with Rivals.com here with 2023 four-star offensive lineman Madden Sanker. Madden, busy summer. I guess, first of all, let's talk about the spring. Where have you been able to get to this spring?
I went around a couple places. I hit up Louisville first, then went to Michigan State, went to UNC, went to Georgia back in January, right before the dead period. We hit up, who else did we hit up? I'm drawing a blank. We hit up another squad, I just forget right now.
You were at Georgia for the championship celebration thing, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you've got officials locked in to Louisville, Michigan State, Miami. Is there another one?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay. So how about the fifth one? Do you know who's going to be getting the fifth one? I know you got a top 10. Do you have any?
It's going to be between UNC, Ole Miss, and probably Georgia right now. The only reason Georgia's not locked in is because I'm right next to there. I can go there anytime I want. So we're thinking about taking one to a school that's further away.
Okay. So in theory, say North Carolina gets the official, people shouldn't read into the fact that, Georgia doesn't get an official, they're not in it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's nothing. Because I'll be going to Georgia probably 2-3 times this summer,
Okay.
just because they're right next to home.
So let's talk about the four schools that have got it, I guess, going on. This is Louisville. I know Louisville's recruiting you for it. I follow you on Twitter. They're hitting you up. Their fan base is hitting you up. What do you like most about them, what they got going on up there?
They got a lot of guys committing there. Pierce started it. Since him, he got a whole bunch of guys to commit. So they're going to have a really tough recruiting class. And Coach Satterfield's a great coach. He won ACC Coach of the Year a couple years back. I love the hire with Coach Cardwell after Coach Bignell left. I think he's a really good, young-minded coach that can put a lot of O linemen in the league. So that's why I like Louisville.
Coach Cardwell started, was it this spring? Was it back in?
Yeah, so he came in as a tight ends coach.
Okay.
And then Coach Bignell left, so he took over O line because that's what he coached at App State.
So what sticks out most about him? You mentioned he's a young guy. He's a bright. What sticks out the most about him and sort of the energy he brings as a younger guy?
Man, he never stops. He'll be doing push-ups out there with the guys. He'll do drills with the guys. He loves the game, and I love the game. So he loves contact with the O-lineman, and I think he wouldn't rather be anywhere else with the O-line.
So Michigan State, Big Ten program, they've got a history of grinding it out, good offensive line play. What sticks out most about what Coach Tucker's got going on up there?
They win. For sure. They went from a 3 to 4 win team to a double-digit win team in the matter of 2 years. So I think that just shows how much of a difference Coach Tucker made to that team. They have a great atmosphere up there. I know they had a couple guys commit over the past, so I think they're a top 10 or top 15 recruiting class right now. So they're going to keep winning on in the future, and they're going to put guys in the league.
The success they had last year kind of came out of nowhere, like it seemed like. Did that really sort of get them on your radar, maybe more than they were going into last season?
It did. That's what opened my eyes. Now getting onto the campus and meeting the coaches, that helped them even more. But to get them in front of me was definitely the winning aspect, with them beating a whole bunch of top teams and finishing, I think, 12th in the nation or something like that.
So Miami seems like they're somewhat of a newer player in things. Obviously, Coach Cristobal, all those guys down there. What has the evolution of the interest been like with the Hurricanes over the past probably 3-4 months or so?
Well, it started when that coaching staff was at Oregon. I was close with them, but I knew in the back of my mind I couldn't go 40 hours to go play football. So when they moved to Miami, it opened a whole new world of opportunity. So I got the offer from them back in, I think, December. And then since then, we just kept staying in contact, staying in touch. I went on a visit earlier this year, and I really like what they do. And Cristobal he's a real O-line guy. So that definitely helps them out a lot. And I think same thing with them. They're going to have a good recruiting class this year and a couple of years to come.
What was it about that? Because I think that visit was, just a couple of weeks ago, I think, right? So, one, were they really in contention for an official before that? And kind of on that, what was it about that visit that you're like, hey, I need to get back down here for an official? They're really one of the top players in this recruitment now.
Yeah, they were in contention for an official. It wasn't locked into that visit. I really just saw how well of a coach Coach Mirabal was. I think he's one of the best teaching coaches in the game, if not the best teaching coach. I give him high praise to that. Cristobal, a great offensive line mind. He's been everywhere. He actually works with the offensive line as a head coach, so I think that's different about him. And I really like that about him. And just the atmosphere there. You got guys like Ed Reed and Warren Sapp going to practices every day just to be back there because they loved it so much. So it speaks volumes for sure. And just after that visit, it definitely solidified them for an official.
So speaking of head coaches that like the offensive line, Coach Pittman at Arkansas, what can you say about that guy? Like one of the best characters in college football, it seems like.
Same thing. He's a great person, real people person. He can connect to just about every recruit on a different level just because he's such a good a good guy. He's got a good mind. Like we said before, he's an O-line guy, formerly the offensive line coach at Georgia, and I think my freshman year, he produced Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wilson both in the first round. So, I mean, it just shows what he can do. I expect to be an interior guy in college. The past 3 centers he's coached have all been a top first or second round pick. So it definitely shows what Arkansas can do and just the stuff that he's done there. Same thing with them. They won a lot last year, and I think that might be a lot because of him. Not just because of him, but like the players he's coached and just a different environment at Arkansas.
When you talk to Pittman and the offensive line coach there, is the pedigree of guys they put in the NFL, like, is that the main is that the main part of their message, or is there something else that they're using to kind of supplement that?
It's a whole different things. NFL is a big thing for them. SEC, I mean, you can't get better than that. Their atmosphere, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's Fayetteville, Arkansas, there's nothing to do over there. Well, I mean, you think about it, it's the only sports team you got there. So you got fans left and right that know you. I mean, their campus is outstanding from what I've heard. All these guys committed there. I think they're a top 5 recruiting class right now, and there's a reason for it. I mean, Malachi Singleton, North Cobb, I used to play with him when we were kids, so him going there and me talking to him about a couple things over at Arkansas definitely has an impact on me. And I mean, like I said, yeah, the thing with the NFL, I mean, that's great. That's not why I'm going to choose a school, but it does show that like I can reach my goals at that school.
So those 4 schools that have got officials locked in, how often are you communicating with the staffs over there?
Pretty often. I would say those 4, I'm down to about 7 or 8 right now. All those schools I talk to at least 3 times a week. I mean, it's a small circle, but those people are very heavily involved in my recruitment right now. That's why they're my top schools.
Do you have dates locked in for any of those schools yet?
Yes. So Michigan State will be the 3rd through 5th. Arkansas will be 10th through 12th. Louisville 17th through 19th, and Miami 23rd through 26th.
So you mentioned Georgia, North Carolina, another school I'm blanking on.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah, in contention for that last official spot. I guess you mentioned maybe people shouldn't read too much into Georgia not getting it, but what's going to be the deciding factor to whoever gets that last official visit?
Same thing. I can just who's most interested in me, who wants me to go on the official more. I think that they're all great schools and they all give me a great opportunity. Whatever school doesn't get it, I'll still be interested in. They'll get a game visit or something like that. But the official visit is just about the contact, the FaceTimes and the calls, and just telling me what they have to offer.
So if you're planning game visits this fall, are you planning to commit like early signing day? Is that the plan?
We're hoping to finish. I would like to finish by August if I know where I'm going, but most likely we'll try to take a game visit or 2 just to make sure where I know I want to go. So hopefully I'll be done before September.
And then planning to enroll early?
Yes.
I guess.